Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jonathan. I'll be the facilitator for this session, and we have a few announcements before we start. So, first of all, we would like to thank you all for arriving on time, and also remind you that it's important to stay the full hour and to participate in order to receive credit. Any of you may choose to only observe. However, please remember that if you don't participate, it won't account as a credit. If you would like to be an observer, please let me know by sending me a message in the chat. Or if you know how to change your name, you can also write observer maybe after your name. But please let me know so that way we can calculate the time correctly for everybody. Also, I'll be typing in the scenarios, which you'll need also to write down to finish the assignment. So please make sure you have the chat box. You know how to access the chat box. Maybe keep it open. I can also put in any relevant medical terms or any spelling for any words that you might need to look up in the dictionary. And you also are all encouraged to use the chat box freely. Any feedback, any encouragement, anything that you think that would be helpful to the rest of us, feel free to write that in the chat box throughout the session. And you'll probably notice this class is being recorded. That's something that we do once a month for quality control. So it's just for internal use. Please make sure that you all keep your microphones muted until I call on your name. And also, if any of you have any questions regarding this course, then you can feel free to attend one of Dr. Lee's question and answer sessions. Those take place twice a week and on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. If any of you have any questions regarding this session here, maybe some of the scenarios we go over or interpreting in general, then feel free to ask those questions once everybody's had a chance to go and the session is over. And also, in order to develop good skills, it's important that you get into the habit of practicing on your own. That's something that even experienced interpreters continue to do, similar to musicians, that even when they're at a professional level, they still dedicate a lot of time to practice. So that's kind of the mentality we need to have as interpreters. A really good website to practice with is webmd.com. I can put that in the chat box for you guys. This is a website that Dr. Lee likes to recommend. A good way to use it is by, some messages there. Okay, a good way to use that is by doing site translation. So you look at it in English, find an article that interests you, and try to read it out loud in your target language. And that's really good practice. It also gives us a chance to get quicker at using a medical dictionary. Make sure you have one handy and look up any words you're not familiar with. That will help you get quicker at looking words up also. If you don't have a medical dictionary yet, or maybe if you need one for this session, here's a link that a lot of students find helpful, a lot of interpreters use, lingui.com. It's nice because it gives you the context of the word, so you can make sure you have the right word for that context. Another really good website to practice with, for those of you who speak Spanish, is docmali.com. They have some really good information for medical personnel that work between Spanish and English, some good scenarios, and a really nice podcast, so something you can listen to when you're on the go. It's also important to have a notebook. That's something that all professional interpreters will carry with them, something to take down brief notes. Especially that's important for lists or for numbers. So always be ready to write down all items on a list because it's very easy to leave one out. And numbers are very easy to get backwards and very important to get right. So always be ready to write those two things down. And during this session, it's a good idea to practice note-taking, maybe as you follow along as others practice. And also during the session, when it is your turn, please remember to refer to yourself in the third person. This is standard protocol for medical interpreters. It helps avoid confusion. It makes it obvious that you're no longer interpreting, but you're requesting something. So for example, instead of saying, could you please repeat that? If you need something repeated, say something like, the interpreter needs repetition. So that doesn't usually come very natural at first, so make sure you practice that when it is your turn. And good, we had a few students log in during the announcements. You guys are still in time. You didn't pass the 5-minute point, so you can still participate. Just give me 1 second to Let me see, 1 second to write you guys down. And let me see, it doesn't always go in order, so I want to make sure I get everybody. Okay, and also a couple have written observer, so okay, let me just put that you guys are observing too. Give me just a minute for that. Okay, so that means we have about 9 students who are participating. So we'll have about between 5 and 6 minutes each to practice. So that's a nice amount of time today. And we'll try to go in the order that you guys logged in on. The names get a little bit mixed up, so but we'll try to keep it close to the order that you guys logged in. So we can start with Isaac. Hello, Isaac. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, good. All right, so we have a scenario that we had started last week, but we just got to the very beginning of it, and it's a really nice scenario. So I think maybe we can go with that one. This one is on COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Let me put that in the chat box for you. So good. It is a little bit advanced, so don't worry if you have to look some words up, but it's a really good one to practice. So, all right. So now the doctor starts or is in the middle of his conversation, and he says, "You have something called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease."
Usted tiene algo llamado. I need to search up. Interpreter needs to search up a word.
Okay. Sure. If anybody has any suggestions, feel free to put them in the chat box.
Okay, interpreter needs repetition, please.
Sure. You have something called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Usted tiene algo llamado enfermedad obstructiva crónica pulmonar.
Okay, good. You had all of the words right, so that was good. I'm going to give you the order here in the chat box. And the order is important for the abbreviation of the words. So if you can see that there. So now the doctor continues, that is also known as COPD.
Eso también es algo llamado COPD.
Okay, so good. Now it's not necessarily wrong to use the English acronym, but if you do, it's good to end that by saying por sus siglas en inglés. So that shows that you're using the English one. So if you were to do that in Spanish, looking at the name, how do you think you would do it? Okay, you got to have some help in the chat box then.
Okay.
So in Spanish, you see the acronym, and you would read that as one word. So how would you think you would say that?
EPOC.
Perfect. Perfecto. All right. This illness leads to 2 types of problems.
Esta enfermedad lleva a 2 tipos de problemas.
The first problem is called chronic bronchitis.
El primer problema es bronquitis. Interpreter needs repetition, please.
Sure. Chronic bronchitis.
Bronquitis crónica.
And it occurs when there's a lot of inflammation in the airways.
Y ocurre cuando hay mucha inflamación en los conductos de aire.
Okay, good. Can you think of another word for that, for the airways? Conductos de aire. It might not be wrong. It might be used in some countries. I've never heard it put together that way. That, to me, would be more of a construction term. You got some suggestions there. Everybody's got the same.
Vías respiratorias.
Good, perfect. This inflammation causes a persistent cough.
Esta inflamación lleva una tos. Interpreter needs repetition, please.
Sure. A persistent cough.
Una tos persistente.
With lots of phlegm.
Con mucha. Interpreter needs to search up a word.
Sure, you almost got it. This is a word that we think is Spanglish sometimes, so we hesitate. But
yeah, phlegma.
Yeah, good, perfect. It also causes wheezing.
También causa. I'm sorry. Interpreter needs to search up a word.
Sure. You were getting some suggestion to in
Silbido.
the
También
good,
causa silbido.
which is like a whistle that is heard when you breathe.
Es como un silbido que se oye cuando respira.
And it also causes difficulty breathing.
Y también causa dificultades cuando respiras.
The second problem is called emphysema,
El segundo problema se llama enfisema
and it occurs when there's a lot of damage to the alveoli.
y ocurre cuando hay demasiado. Interpreter needs repetition, please.
Sure, I gave you the spelling of the word there too in the chat box. So when there is damage to the alveoli.
Cuando hay daño en el alvéolos.
And those are the air sacs in your lungs.
Y esos son los. I'm sorry, interpreter needs to look up a word.
Sure. Good. Joanna has a very good suggestion for you.
Sacos de aire en los
Good.
pulmones.
Okay, muy bien. Good job, Isaac. That was a difficult one, but you did good with it. So
Thank
you're welcome. Good. Next we have Geraldine. So, hello, Geraldine. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I'm okay, thank you.
All right, good. All right, so continuing here. This makes it difficult to breathe and to get oxygen.
Esto hace que sea difícil respirar y conseguir oxígeno.
Entonces yo debo de tener enfisema.
Oh, so I think I should have emphysema.
Mi papá tenía enfisema.
My dad had emphysema.
Okay. There's some interference. I can't tell whose microphone that's coming from. It may be yours. Is somebody washing the dishes behind you?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
let me go
problem.
to
I
another
just
part.
no,
Sorry.
that's fine. It's for you. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't somebody else that would make it difficult. So don't worry about
No, just let me move to another room.
it. Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, I think this is better.
Okay, good. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You suffer from a combination of these two problems.
Usted sufre de una combinación de estos dos problemas.
Chronic bronchitis that causes a cough with phlegm.
Bronquitis crónica que causa. Interpreter needs a repetition for the last part.
Sure. That causes a cough with phlegm.
Okay. Interpreter looking for a word. Oh,
Sure.
que causa tos y flema.
And also emphysema that makes breathing difficult.
Y también la enfisema que causa problemas para respirar.
Y esta enfermedad, la EPOC, es como el asma.
And this disease, EPOC, is like the asthma. Sorry.
Okay, sure, no problem. One thing though, if you remember that in Spanish we say EPOC, but it has a different abbreviation in English.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem.
So this disease, it was COPD. COPD.
Yes, good, perfect. So,
COPD is like asthma.
good. Porque ya me diagnosticaron con asma.
Because they already told me I had asthma.
Well, asthma usually appears during youth as a result of allergies.
Bueno, la enfermedad del asma normalmente aparece en la etapa de joven.
Okay.
An interpreter needs that last part, I think.
Sure. As a result of allergies.
Como resultado de las alergias.
Okay, good. Now, to help you out in the future, it would be a little more comfortable to say en la juventud.
Juventud,
So,
yes.
yeah, all right.
Yes.
You're welcome. Usually, the airway inflammation and the constriction that occurs in asthma
Usualmente la vía respiratoria. Interpreter needs the last part. Repetition for the last part, please.
Sure, no problem. Usually, the airway inflammation and constriction that occur in asthma.
Ok. Usualmente la inflamación aérea y la restricción que causan.
That occurs. Sure, no, that occurs in asthma can be reversed with treatment.
Que ocurre en el asma puede ser reversido con el tratamiento.
Unlike asthma,
diferente del asma,
chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is progressive.
La enfermedad pulmonar obstructiva crónica es progresiva.
Which means that even with treatment, lung function worsens with time.
Lo que quiere decir que incluso con tratamiento, los pulmones, interpreter needs repetition for the last part, sorry.
Sure, no problem. Lung function worsens with time.
Las funciones de los pulmones se agravia con el tiempo.
Bueno, doctor, me parece que ya es hora de dejar de fumar.
Well, doctor, I think it's time for me to give up smoking.
¿Usted cree que heredé esta enfermedad de mi papá?
Do you think I had this disease like my father?
Okay. All right, good. Good, Geraldine. Again, this is an advanced one. It's a little difficult.
I know.
So.
I was struggling a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You did good, though.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, let me see. So next we have Charrito Aroma. Hello, good morning. Is this your first session with me, Theo? I don't know if I've seen you before.
Actually, this is my second.
Your second. Okay. All right, good. So you know how everything works. So.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's Charito.
Okay, Charrito. Okay. Yeah. No, I apologize. I was trying to figure out which was the last name. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So let's continue here. Let me see. So now she had just asked if the doctor thought it was hereditary, right? So now the doctor answers. It is true that people who have a family history of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease are more likely to get it.
Totoo na nakukuha sa lahi ang sakit ng pulmonya sa baga.
I'll help you out with the spelling there.
Chronic. Sorry.
No problem.
Totoong nakukuha sa lahi ang pagkakaroon ng barado sa baga.
Okay, would you like me to repeat that, or do you have it all?
Yes.
So, okay.
Like,
all right.
It's explaining that it is hereditary in your genes to get a disease in your lungs.
Okay, good. All right, good. So this particular disease, maybe if you want to write it down and maybe take a look later on and see, just to control, to make sure you have the right name for it in your language. What is your language, by the way?
Tagalog, Filipino.
Okay, all right, Tagalog, good. All right, so yeah, so maybe later just maybe double check and make sure that that is the right expression for it. But
Yes, sir.
all right. So the doctor continues, furthermore, there is a rare genetic alteration.
Furthermore. I need interpreter needs to look up a word.
Sure.
Can you repeat it again, please?
Sure. Furthermore, there is a rare genetic alteration.
Sa karagdagang pagsusuri, meron. Okay, further. I'm so sorry.
Sure, no problem. Now, again, this is a very advanced session, so if you're just starting out, it's understandable that it's a little bit difficult for you. So don't stress about it. It is very good practice for you, though, because there will be times where somebody will speak more technical and just throw things out there. So it is very good practice. So just kind of relax and don't worry. I understand this is only your second session and it's an advanced scenario here. So yeah, just make sure you keep breathing, relax, and don't worry about it. Try to do the best you can here. I can actually, I'll put this in the chat box for you.
Okay.
What I had just said, so that way that might help you a little bit. But furthermore, there is a rare genetic alteration.
Sa karagdagang pagsusuri, merong merong I can't find it.
Okay, sure, no problem. Let's to not have trip you up too long here. Maybe write that down or take a screenshot of it, and then afterwards maybe you can look at it. So
Yes, thank you.
yes, so you're welcome, no problem. So he mentioned this altercation and says that can contribute to COPD.
Okay. Sa karagdagang pagsusuri, itong malalang genetic na pagbabago ay pwedeng mapunta sa emphysema.
Okay. However, okay. So it looks like you found a way to say the one from before. So good. Good job. Just one thing, maybe this is the same sickness that we had mentioned before, no? So the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It's abbreviated COPD. So I believe you said emphysema, right? So it is a little bit different. It's emphysema is part of it, but there's more to it. So again, maybe write that down for afterwards to figure out well. All right, so now he continues. However, the primary cause is exposure to noxious substances.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Sure. I was, let me try and simplify this a little bit for you again, because you're just getting started out. However, the primary cause is exposure to things like pollution.
Pero ang
Okay. Well, our time is up right now. Our time is up also. So I apologize. I was going to try and do some site translation too, but I don't have anything in Tagalog right now. I'll look for something. So next time you can get a chance also to do site translation and go into English.
Yes,
but
I get the word here and word there, and then I'm trying to put it all together in my head, and then
Yeah, no,
easier.
don't worry. It gets easier with time. Don't worry. At the beginning, it's not very natural to be mixing two languages like we have to do when we interpret. So just don't stress about it. Just keep going forward, and you'll see it'll start to come together for you.
Thank you. I'm
So,
sorry for
alright.
wasting your
No,
time.
no, don't be sorry. You did good. Don't worry. This was very hard. So, all right. I look forward to seeing you on another session then. But you did good. All right. We can continue now. Next we have Veronica. So, hello, Veronica. How are you?
Hi.
Okay. Hey, let's continue here. So he had just mentioned, so the primary cause is exposure to things like pollution,
La causa primaria es la exposición a cosas como la polución,
dust, chemical vapors,
a polvo, vapores químicos
and smoke that can irritate or damage the lungs.
y humo que puede irritar y dañar los pulmones.
En mi caso ha de ser por fumar, ¿verdad?
Oh, in my case, might be for smoking, right?
Yes, in your case, smoking is the most likely cause of your illness.
Sí, en su caso, el fumar es la causa primordial de su enfermedad.
Okay. All right. That was very good, but what he said was a little bit different. And it's very
Likely.
easy to change these words
Uh-huh.
around, but we need to stick close because it does change quite a bit the meaning. So he
Can I
said,
repeat that?
sure. In your case, smoking is the most likely cause of your illness.
En su caso, el fumar es la causa más probable de su enfermedad.
Okay, perfect. Pero doctor, yo fumo menos que antes.
But doctor, I smoked less than before.
Ahora fumo solo media cajetilla al día.
Now I only smoke half a box per day.
Well, if you keep smoking, your lung function will worsen much more rapidly.
Bueno, si continúa fumando, la función pulmonar. Oh, interpreter needs repetition for the last part.
Sure, will worsen much more rapidly.
Va a empeorar mucho más rápido.
Therefore, it is very important that you stop smoking.
Por eso es muy importante que pare de fumar.
Let me ask you, do you want to quit smoking?
Déjeme preguntarle, ¿usted quiere dejar de fumar?
Bueno, en verdad no sé.
I really don't know.
Mi esposo fuma también y es parte de nuestra rutina diaria.
My husband smokes as well and is part of our daily routine.
Well, let's talk about this some more.
Bueno, hablemos de esto un poco más.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is progressive.
La enfermedad de inflamación pulmonar crónica es progresiva.
Okay, you almost had that down. Also, as a side note, it wouldn't be wrong to just say epoch. So once we're in the middle of the conversation, when the doctor is introducing it, you should stick very close. But then once you've already introduced it, it wouldn't be wrong to just stick with the acronym. So you could just say epoch. Yeah, so in Spanish it's epoch, right? So COPD in English. So
Okay.
if it comes to you, if the doctor says the full name, I would definitely say the full name. But if it's a question of you're not sure or you would have to look it up, then it would be fine to just keep with the abbreviation. So
Okay.
all right. Because let me see, there was one of the words was off from that. I forget which one. This was put in before, but just to help you out there, that's the correct way to say it in Spanish, and it should follow that too, especially because of the epoch. It needs to match. So, all right. As the disease advances, your symptoms get worse.
Interpreter needs to look up the word.
Sure.
Now interpreter needs repetition.
Sure, sure. As the disease advances, your symptoms get worse.
Cuando la enfermedad avanza, los síntomas empeoran.
This means that we need to monitor it regularly.
Esto significa que necesitamos monitorearla regularmente.
Every so often, we are going to do pulmonary functions tests.
Cada tanto vamos a hacer test de función pulmonar.
You already had a test called spirometry.
Interpreter needs to look up the word.
Sure, I gave you the spelling there in the chat box. So.
Ya tenemos una prueba de espirometría.
Good. Okay, perfect. But it started out as you already had.
Oh, usted ya tuvo una prueba de espirometría.
Okay, perfect. All right, good. Good job, Veronica.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me see. Next we have Nurjan, and also hold on 1 minute. I see Khalid had logged in, but you were too late to be able to participate, Khalid. So hopefully next week we can have you. But remember, there's a 5 minute. If you log in after 5 minutes, then we're not allowed to allow you to participate. So, but we're happy to have you as an observer. Okay, good. So Nurjan, how are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you, Jonathan?
Okay, good, thanks. And all right, so he had just mentioned the spirometry, and he explains what it is. This test measures the flow of air in your airways.
Este examen. Okay. Interpreter needs repetition.
Sure. This test measures the flow of air in your airways.
Okay, interpreter needs to look up a word. Okay.
Sure.
Este examen mide. Give me 1 second. Este examen mide el flujo de aire en sus vías respiratorias.
Yeah. And it informs us about the severity of your disease.
Y nos informa acerca de la severidad de su enfermedad.
We are going to repeat this test and do some additional testing.
Vamos a repetir este examen y vamos a hacer otros exámenes adicionales.
We are going to measure the volume of your lungs.
Vamos a medir el volumen de sus pulmones
And the diffusion of oxygen across the alveoli.
y la difusión del oxígeno a través de los alvéolos.
Bien. ¿Y qué son los alvéolos? Se me olvidó.
What are alveoli? I forgot.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you see this drawing here?
Esa es una buena pregunta. ¿Usted ve? Interpreter needs repetition of the last word.
Sure. This drawing here.
¿Usted ve este dibujo aquí?
You can see the alveoli are the little air sacs.
Usted puede ver que los alvéolos son sacos de aire.
At the end of the airways.
Al final de... I forgot that word.
Sure. You had it good last time. So
I know,
keep
I know, I just had it.
it.
De las vías respiratorias.
Bien. And it's where the blood receives oxygen.
Y es donde la sangre recibe oxígeno.
and also where it gets rid of carbon dioxide.
Y también donde elimina el óxido de carbono.
We are also going to take blood from an artery in your wrist.
También vamos a tomar, I'm sorry, interpreter needs repetition.
Sure. We are also going to take blood from an artery in your wrist.
También vamos a tomar sangre de la arteria en su muñeca.
And this is to measure the levels of gases in your blood.
Y esto es para medir los niveles de gases en su sangre.
Ay, sí, recuerdo esta prueba porque duele.
Oh yes, I remember this test because it hurts.
Yes, it hurts more than taking blood from the vein.
Sí, duele más que tomar la sangre de la vena.
But it gives us essential information, and we will only do it when it's necessary.
Pero nos da información esencial y solo lo hacemos cuando es necesario.
We are also going to monitor your walking oxygen level.
También vamos a monitorear su oxígeno cuando está caminando.
Okay. There is a better way to say that. That would work if it was in real life. Instead of stopping to look the word up, that could work. But if you want to try again, or if anybody has a suggestion, so it's called
Okay.
the walking oxygen level, and that is what it means. It's the oxygen level as you're walking, like you usually put on a treadmill. But
Okay, let me.
okay, mientras camina, good. Yes, that explains it good. The time is pretty much up, so I'll put what they put here in the notes. That is a very good way to say it. No,
Thank
nivel
you
de
so
oxígeno
much.
caminando. You're welcome. Al caminar, yes, that would also work. So, all right, good, good job, Nurjan.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Good. So next we have Shume. Hello, Shume. How are you doing?
Hi, Jonathan.
Okay. All right, let's continue here, and then we can give you some site translation also to finish, so you can get a chance to go into English as well. Let me see. Additionally, we will do a test to monitor your oxygen levels while you sleep.
另外呢，我们还要看看你氧气的水平，当你在睡觉的时候。
People with COPD may have very low levels of oxygen while they sleep.
平常人们有这个 COPD 这个毛病的人，一般常常在睡觉的时候，他氧气的水平会比较少。
Even though their levels may be normal during the day.
即使他在白天的时候氧气是正常的。
If your oxygen levels are low, I'm going to recommend a therapy with oxygen.
如果你的氧气水平低的话呢，我会定这氧气给你使用。
I don't like the idea of taking oxygen.
我不喜欢去拿这个氧气。
Well, it will provide you with great benefits.
这对你是很有好处的。
It will help you perform your daily activities.
它可以帮助你白天的一些行动是好的。
And more importantly, it will allow you to live longer despite your disease.
更重要的是呢，它能让你活久一点，虽然你有这个毛病。
Well, if you recommend it to me after doing the tests, then I will try it.
好吧，如果你建议我这么做，那做完检测以后呢，我会就用这个氧气。
Okay, good. And also with your smoking history, you are at an increased risk of developing lung cancer.
还有呢，你抽烟的习惯呢，你会有增加你得到肺癌的概率。
Therefore, I recommend that we do a CT scan of your chest every year.
所以呢，我建议我们做肺部的
Okay, yes, it's also known as a CAT scan. So sometimes they'll say CT scan, or other times they'll say CAT scan.
I forgot the translation to Chinese. I just checked it the other day.
No, it's one of those words we need to use a few times to get it to stick, but
Yeah,
it's an important one. So
yeah.
right, well, if you want to maybe write that down and make sure, well, you've already looked it up the other day, so it's a word you need to practice. So maybe
I had to.
try practicing a little bit afterwards until it sticks.
Yeah, I will check
So-
it later.
Okay, good. I think my screen sharing is working now. Last week had some problems with it, but I think it's all set. At least it worked before the class. So let me share my screen with you, and we can do. Let me see. Okay, can you see that clearly?
Don't worry, I acknowledge.
Okay. We had started. This is one that we had started, so we had left off. If you want to read this paragraph here.
Did you highlight it? Oh, okay. Just a second, I'm looking for.
Oh, actually, looking better at my notes, it was here. We had done the first part right here about aerobic exercise, and then here talking about walking. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me see. Yeah, usually I because I'm low vision, so I blow up the letter, and now it became.
It's too small. It's too small. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. If I do this, it might get bigger. Let me see. Did that help at all? I can't really. Actually, let me see. I might be able to make it bigger.
Let's try.
Okay, let me try this. I think that might have worked.
A bit better. Let's try.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Just,
So the method of your exercise includes that aerobic exercise. Exercise your big muscle. Improve the cardio and your lung function. And aerobic exercise includes walking, jogging, biking. The word before bike. Aerobic class.
Good.
And biking, swimming. Oh, tennis.
Yes, perfect.
This word is not clear either. I make out of the word. The last
Okay.
word.
Okay, the last word then is
Something. Maybe dancing?
dancing. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, good. Good job.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me take the screen off. All right, good. So we can try next week continuing from there, but good. Now let's see. Next we have Sotara. Hello, Sotara. How are you doing?
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
Yes.
All right, good. 1 minute, please, while I pull my notes back up. Okay, so now the patient answers, my father, may he rest in peace, died of lung cancer.
ឪពុករបស់ខ្ញុំគាត់បានស្លាប់ដោយសារ ជំងឺមហារីកសួត lung cancer
I'm sorry, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you.
ខ្ញុំសោកស្ដាយណាស់ខ្ញុំអត់ចង់ឲ្យរឿងដដែលហ្នឹងកើតលើចំពោះអ្នកឯងទេ
That is why you should stop smoking.
អញ្ចឹងហើយបានជាអ្នកឯងត្រូវតែឈប់ជក់បារី
Quitting smoking will lower your risk of developing lung cancer.
ព្រោះណាអ្នកឯងបោះបង់ការជក់បារីហ្នឹងធ្វើឲ្យហានិភ័យកាន់តែទៀតចំពោះជំងឺសួតរបស់អ្នក
I understand, doctor.
ខ្ញុំយល់ហើយលោកដុកទ័រ
Okay. Hold on just a minute. There's some interference and okay, good. It worked. We got to figure out how to mute. All right. Good. That's it for that scenario. So we can start the next one. And the next one here then is going to be a lung nodule on a CT scan, which, as we just said, is also a CAT scan. So same. All right. So the doctor says, when you went to the ER last week with chest pain.
The interpreter need repetition the second word.
Sure. When you went to the ER last week with chest pain.
ពេលកាលពីទឹកកន្លងទៅពេលអ្នកទៅធ្វើថតឆ្លុះthe interpreter need the technical PET scan
yes, so wait, let me see.
MRI or
no, it was chest pain.
Chest
pain.
Oh,
I see what you yes, and you may, if you, I'm not sure if you understood ER.
Yes,
so
yes,
for emergency
yes,
room. Yes, okay.
yes.
So yes, with
again ពេលអ្នកឯងទៅបន្ទប់សង្គ្រោះបន្ទាន់ដោយសារតែមានចុកឈឺនៅដើមទ្រូងនៅអាទិត្យកន្លងមកនេះសប្តាហ៍កន្លងមកនេះ last week
they did a CT scan of your chest.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើការថតសួតរបស់អ្នកឯងដោយ CT scan
this scan showed no acute problems.
លទ្ធផលនៃ CT scan នេះអត់មានបង្ហាញឲ្យឃើញថាមានវិបត្តិស្រួចស្រាវអ្វីទេ
but a nodule was seen in the lower part of the right lung.
ប៉ុន្តែមាន nodule មួយដែលយើងឃើញនៅក្នុងសួតខាងស្ដាំ
So I recommend that we do a study called the positron emission tomography.
ខ្ញុំតម្រូវឲ្យអ្នកឯងត្រូវតម្រូវធ្វើការសិក្សាសួតរបស់អ្នកឯងដោយប្រើវិធី positron tomography we don't have this in Cambodian language but we can explain that this is a kind of graphy using positron emission
Yes. Okay, good. Yes. So if you explain it to them, but you probably, I'm not sure in your language, but in most other languages will use what he says next, the acronym for it, as a PET scan. So that's what so that might be, maybe look it up to make sure, but it might be what they would use.
It would be a long explanation before this
Okay.
book.
All right. So he continues saying it's commonly known by its English acronym as a PET scan.
ហើយគេច្រើនតែនិយមហៅវិធីថតហ្នឹងគេហៅថា PET scan
Okay. All right, good. I found, let me see where it is. I had found something that I think might work for you because we didn't have anything for sight translation before. Give me just a second. I had that here somewhere. All right, so let me know if this is something that you can read. If I got the right language. Let me try and make that bigger. Let me see. Maybe if I do this, it'll get bigger. All right. Is that the right language?
Yes, but it's too small.
It's too small. All right, let me keep trying.
Can it be bigger?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see if there's a way that I can. Wait, let me try this. Mess. And
It is too small.
yeah, that would be actually. I can try maybe for next week to take. Oh, let me see if I can take a screenshot of just the title. The time is starting to run out, so maybe if I take a screenshot of just the title and share that with you. Let's try that. Okay, how's that? At least the title we can do.
Can I do this?
Yes, well, I was trying to make it bigger, but here, there it is. Okay, go ahead, if you can read that.
Take care of your health to no, again, please. Improve your health to prevent cancer.
Okay, good, great. All right, so next week I'll try to have that prepared already then, so we can do some of the part underneath. But good. So thank you, Sosara. Good job.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome. And good. Next we have Hilma. Hello, Hilma. How are you doing today? I believe it's Hilma Escobar. Do I have the right name? I'm not sure if your microphone's not on. Let me try. So see if you could turn it on. If not, we can continue and maybe see if you can get it figured out afterwards. All right. Well, for now, we can keep going to not waste too much time, and we can go back to you afterwards. If you can hear me, see if you can figure out trying to change microphone. Okay. Yeah, that's. All right. We'll see if you can get it figured out. In the meantime, we'll go ahead with Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Let me see. Do we still have Catherine? I'm not sure if this is your first time, Catherine, or Catherine Salguero. Can you hear me? Let's see. Try to get the mic on. No. Okay. Let me see in the chat. Is there trying to change? Okay. Catherine, if you can hear me, if you would like to give it a try, then it would be your turn. Let me see. I don't believe you wrote that you were an observer before, right? Let me look back and see who the observers were. Not able to turn on mic. Okay. Hilma. Let me see, because they don't let me turn anybody's mic on. I can ask you to turn it on, which I think a message or something will show up, but I don't know if that would help you. And Catherine, the same thing. All right, sorry about that. Let's see if we can help you guys out. Okay, got it. Good.
Sorry, this is Gilma Escobar.
All right, no problem. It's a new platform. It's a little hard.
Yeah, I think you just have to refresh after some time. It doesn't give you access to change the microphone.
Okay, all right. That's good to know. So also, Catherine, if you want to try refreshing, maybe afterwards, maybe it'll work for you. But yeah, thank you. That's good to know. I am starting to really like this platform, but there's a few little things we're still trying to get figured out. So that would be very helpful if we can.
Okay, I think I got mine working.
All right, perfect. All right, we need to remember that then. Refresh the screen if there's any problems. So great. Let me see. So the next one on the list was Hilma. So we can start with Hilma and then we'll go to Catherine. So give me just a second now to pull my notes back up here. All right, so we were just talking about a PET scan. And now the doctor says, this study will help us to understand what the nodule represents.
Este estudio nos ayudará a determinar qué clase de nódulo es.
Doctor, ¿usted cree que podría ser un cáncer?
Doctor, do you think this could be a cancer?
Well, there's no way to know at this time.
No hay manera de saber en este tiempo.
But it's important to take steps to rule out the possibility.
Pero es importante tomar pasos. Interpreter needs repetition of the last part.
Sure, to rule out the possibility.
Para descartar cualquier posibilidad.
Or if it is cancer, to determine how to treat it.
O si es cáncer, para determinar cómo tratarlo.
Dios mío, en urgencias me dijeron que habían visto algo en el escáner.
Oh God, in emergency, they told me that they had seen something in the scan.
Pero nunca me imaginé que pudiera ser un cáncer.
But I never imagined that it could be cancer.
I know that hearing about the possibility of cancer can be very overwhelming.
Yo sé que escuchar la posibilidad de que puede ser cáncer es muy looking up overwhelming, interpreting.
Okay, sure. I can give you the spelling too if that helps out. And you have a very good suggestion from Carmen.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. Abrumador.
Okay, good. But it does not help to worry about the worst possible outcomes.
Pero no es necesario preocuparse sobre la peor. Jesus. Interpreter needs repetition.
Sure, about the worst possible outcomes.
La posibilidad peor.
All right, good. That's good. I think outcome, a good way to say that in English, you could also say results. And that would
Okay.
be easier to interpret, right? A lot of times that's a good technique. If a word doesn't come to us, think of another word in the same language that has the same meaning. And a lot of times that's a lot easier to interpret. So if he had said the worst possible results, how would you say that?
Los peores resultados.
Good. All right. Remember that we are here to help you.
Acuerda que estamos aquí para ayudarte.
Se lo agradezco mucho.
I really appreciate it.
Okay, good. Good job, Gilma.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome. And good. So now we have Catherine. Hello, Catherine.
Hi.
Hello. Is this your first session?
Yes, it actually
is.
is.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome to meet you. And I guess you've gotten a chance to see how it works. So
Yeah.
All right, good. We can continue here with the same scenario. And before we schedule this exam,
Antes que interpreter looking up a word.
sure, you got a hand in the chat box too. A very good suggestion.
Okay. Antes que programamos esta cita,
Do you have any questions?
¿usted tiene algunas preguntas?
Sí, yo tengo que ayunar antes del examen.
Yes, I do. I need to eat breakfast before the test.
Okay, so it's a question, remember, right? So she's asking, tengo que ayunar antes del examen.
Do I need to eat breakfast before the exam?
Okay, good. So ayunar, that's, let me see. So not desayunar. That's probably what you were thinking. So ayunar without the des. So when you go a period of time without eating.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right. And you're getting some suggestions too.
Okay.
So,
Sorry,
no
interpreter
problem.
needs repetition.
Sure. Tengo que ayunar antes del examen.
Do I need to fast before the exam?
Perfect. Yes, that's right. You should not eat for 6 hours before the test.
Sí, eso es correcto. No debes de comer 6 horas antes del examen,
But you may drink water.
pero puedes tomar agua.
I also recommend a low carbohydrate diet the day before the exam.
Interpreter is looking up a word.
Sure.
Interpreter needs repetition.
Sure. I also recommend a low carbohydrate diet the day before the exam.
También recomiendo una dieta bajo en carbohidratos. Interpreter needs repetition. on the last
Sure,
part.
sure. No problem. The day before the exam.
Antes del día del examen.
Okay, all right, good. And that was very good, especially for your first time. And again, you'll see that it starts to come a little easier. And once you get note taking down a little bit, that'll help you remember the full sentences too. So, but yes, good job, Catherine.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And good. So everybody got a chance to go who had made it on time and who wasn't observing. So you guys did good today. And even though the material was a little more difficult today, but you guys were able to do good with it and also get some practice looking words up. So that's also important to get good at. But good. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute your microphone or